My productivity system is in shambles, which means it is time to get back to basics. I have too many productivity tools, you have too many productivity tools. It is a basic truth of being interested in productivity and planning as a hobby that you will end up with too many productivity tools. We like to experiment or we get overwhelmed and we think that starting something new will solve all of our problems. But in reality, we end up with a million different tools that all sort of do the same thing and it ends up hurting us in the long run. But by the end of this video, you are going to have learned the 4 essential elements of a good productivity system and have your system pared down to just your favorite tools so that you can get back on your grind. Basically, a healthy functioning productivity system has 4 key elements, and they are 1, a capture method, 2, a task manager, 3, a calendar, and 4, a note-taking system. We're going to talk about all of these in more detail, but if any of these sound foreign to you, I would actually bet beyond all belief that somewhere in your cluttered, overgrown system, these elements exist. We just need to find them. So to find these things, we need to list your tools. Yes, I mean everything, even the little notebook or app that you used for like 3 days last January. Think about this like weeding a garden. You're looking out over your garden and you're seeing a variety of different flowers that you love, but in between them are weeds that have popped up and are fighting for your attention. So find all of the places you have been jotting down, noting, storing, or otherwise scrolling away your tasks and plans and compile them into one list. So mine are my planner, my pocket notebook, my end of year goals notebook, my calendar app, my Things 3, my Notion, my Apple Notes app, my email inbox for work, my email inbox for personal, and Asana. Whew, that is a lot of tools. Next, we are going to organize these tools. So we're going to break them out into the 4 categories that I mentioned earlier. A tool can be put in multiple categories, a lot of mine this way. For example, your planner has both a calendar and a note-taking space, so it might be a note-taking system and a calendar for you. But I'm going to take you through each of the 4 categories: capture, task manager, calendar, note-taking system, and show you how to do this for yourself. But for quick reference, here is how I am breaking down my tools. This is how I am using all of my different tools. So my planner is capture and task. My pocket notebook is capture and notes. My end of year goals notebook is tasks. My calendar app is just my calendar. My Things 3 is capture and notes. My Notion is notes. My Apple Notes app is capture and notes. My email inbox for work is capture and tasks. My email inbox for personal is capture and tasks. And my Asana is tasks. So which tools are the weeds? Well, that is the hardest part. We're going to go through each category and pare down our tools as much as possible. First, let's talk about capture. So if you don't know, capture is the method by which you note down something, a note or a task, an appointment, maybe something like that, before you sort it into its proper place. So I might have a little piece of paper here and I'm just taking it and I'm writing down film, YouTube, video. Now, eventually that will get transferred into my actual task manager, but capture just needs to be as fast and as reliable as possible. And you'll probably have different capture tools based on different locations, moods, contexts. For example, if I have my phone nearby, my capture process is probably going to be in my notes app, versus if I don't have my phone, then it's my pocket notebook, which I always have on me. David Allen from Getting Things Done, who I think this method is from, talks about how capture methods should be as few as you can get by with, but as many as you need if you need more. So this can be really flexible to you. You don't have to use just one. It is in your best interest to pare them down though, because when I took a look at my system, when we looked at this sheet of paper right here, 6 of these are being used for capture. I have 2 apps, 2 notebooks, and 2 email inboxes. So I have a lot of places I am capturing tasks. I need to assess which one of these is actually working the best for me, not which one is already set up, not which one has the most aesthetically pleasing app, which one best suits my day-to-day needs. So looking at a list of my tools, I can definitely say that my paper planner is a good place to capture tasks. I will typically remember to check my paper planner for tasks. I am pretty much always in this planner, and I have pretty good review systems for going through old tasks and sorting them into new places in my planner when I do my resets. So this planner is a pretty good place to jot something down because it probably will get done. Another one that I use when I'm on the go is my notes app. I'm also often in that one, and the search function is truly amazing. So I will almost never lose a task. It does need a lot of upkeep, but it is one of my favorite tools, so I will keep it as capture. My Things 3, now things always get lost in my Things 3. It's such a beautiful app, so I go through spurts of using it and then not using it. I do recommend it as a productivity tool, but it's not going to work for me for this because I'm never in the app consistently, so capturing here does virtually nothing for me. Another thing that I use is my pocket notebook, which you just saw me capture something in. Most of this is quite personal, so I'm not going to really show it to you, but it has a lot of notes and things like that in it, and it's honestly way better for journaling on the go. So I think I'm going to regulate it to that instead and try not to use it as a capture method as much as possible. And lastly, my email inboxes, which are the bane of my existence. Email inboxes are such a pain because they get cluttered so easily. Essentially what they are is a tool for someone else to add something to your to-do list. So I will need to have a rigorous relationship with my email inboxes in terms of decluttering them, and it is technically a capture method, but I'm not going to email myself anything, so it's not the one I'm actually contributing to, but one others can use if they want to reach me. Which means our final capture methods are going to be our planners and our Apple Notes app. Technically, these ones count kind of too, but we're not going to be emailing ourselves anything anytime soon. Now let's talk task lists. Task lists are really where my productivity system gets out of whack because I often will grab a scrap piece of paper if I'm feeling overwhelmed, or sometimes just start a whole new productivity app that I think will solve all my problems. But the truth is you need one central place for a task manager. If you don't have one location, your brain will continue to be scattered and holding all of your tasks in a sticky note here and there, and a notebook here and there, and on a scrap piece of paper here and there, and it's just chaos. But you need one central location for everything you have to do in order for your brain to trust it and really be confident in that system. So this should be flexible enough to account for larger projects and also day-to-day tasks. You don't necessarily want something that's just small enough to hold day-to-day tasks or super extra complicated that it can only account for larger projects. Something in the middle works well. Now, the tools that I'm currently using for task management are my primary planner, this one right here, my email inboxes, I already mentioned why that's not a good idea, and my end of year planner here. So I set this up in a video a few videos ago, and we're going to talk about whether or not it's been working for me so far. My last task manager that I'm using is Asana. It is not pictured here, and we are not really going to go through my Asana today because that is for work, but I will talk about it a little bit in this section. So let's talk first about the fact that I'm using my email inboxes as task lists. They are really bad task managers because they can end up being so cluttered and ultimately are out of your personal control. Like I said earlier, email inboxes are the ways other people add things to your to-do list. So you should have a system for cleaning out your email inbox, yes, and putting those emails or the tasks associated with those emails in your respective task manager. But using your email as a to-do list, not a good idea because ultimately it's out of your control. Second, I honestly do not love having this supplementary notebook with tasks in it. I set it up in an earlier video in which I was planning out for the rest of the year, and I still stand by that video and all the methods I used in it. But I will say that putting my tasks separately from a main task manager means that these are getting lost and these are getting done. So instead, what I need to do is I need to transfer all the tasks that have been in here into my main task manager, all the appointments that are in here into my main task manager, because otherwise I'm just like, I don't have this on the go. This is not always with me. My brain doesn't trust it, but it trusts my other system. So I need to use just the one. Now, I'm showing you this page in my personal planner a lot because it is one of my favorite pages. I will brain dump and I will often sort things into these columns after I brain dump. It's a method I like to do to stay productive. I didn't get to sorting them this October. I do have sticky notes that ended up being sort of a de facto sorting, but basically I like having tasks within my planner because I am in this every single day. It has been great to have large brain dumps for periods like months or weeks where I can house everything that I need to, and I can even split it out into projects if I need to by creating unique pages for tasks in the back, and I can even focus on today's tasks in the weekly section where things are dated. So it's a really good task manager and I am in it every single day, so I know for sure that I will be using it. So this is my task manager for personal tools. Now, I mentioned you should only have one task manager, and for the most part I do add work tasks into this task manager, but for my day job we have a separate work platform that is shared by my whole team. It's called Asana. So I will give you the permission, if you have distinct and separate teams where you need to house other tasks, to have more than one task manager, but in general, they should be like pretty much just one that you're relying on. For me, everything goes in my personal planner except for work-related tasks. I do have a system for getting my work-related tasks into my personal planner. That's a topic for another video. My point is, this little guy is my task manager. So let's go back to our sheet and circle. Yeah. Now, the only thing on this list that isn't under more than one app is Calendar. And that is because I use the Calendar app on my computer. It is an Apple Calendar app. It syncs with my work calendar and my Gmail and all my various calendars within Gmail, so I just have everything in one place. There are lots of tools for getting all your calendars and everything in one place. This is the one that I'm using right now, especially for scheduling appointments, and this works the best for me because I can be flexible, and also it sends me automatic reminders. It's perfect for someone like me who's always moving her schedule around. I do have a calendar in my physical planner. Obviously, there's monthly calendars here, and then the weekly calendar is its own calendar of sorts, but I just use these either for another purpose or leave them blank, and that is fine with me. Just because you have a tool or space for a tool in your system doesn't mean you have to use it. You want to be using what is working the best for that tool, and for me, that is my digital calendar app. Once again, like your task manager, this is something you just want to have one copy of. You do not want to have multiple calendars that you check. You just want one app, one system, so that your brain trusts where to find the information, especially if you're trying to make it places on time, I have found. As you can probably tell, a huge part of having a functional digital life is just having everything in one place. But if consolidating everything by hand sounds daunting to you, you should check out today's sponsor, Accuflow. Accuflow is a time blocking platform that makes it simple to consolidate all of your tools in one place and block out time for tasks in your calendar. Their universal inbox gathers tasks from all of your different platforms and drops them into one convenient interface for easy sorting. They integrate with everything under the sun: Gmail, Asana, Todoist, Trello, I could go on. So this is my Accuflow setup, and I have a bunch of things integrated. You can see my calendar over here. All of these red and blue tasks or appointments in my calendar are appointments that it actually uploaded from my Gmail right into Accuflow, so I can actually see how my tasks integrate with my calendar appointments. And then on top of that, I can add tasks to my calendar. So you can see right here in this filming block, I have added tasks, and they are setup, filming location, film video, and then film Accuflow setup, which is what I'm doing right now. So I've actually done all these, so I can go ahead and check them off, and I can do that right here. Or I can go over to my today sidebar and just check off film video, film Accuflow setup, which is great. And then I get like a little bird popping across the screen, so celebratory. It might look like there's a lot going on the screen, but Accuflow offers one-on-one user onboarding, so you can sit down with a real person and they can help you set up your system so you can start taking advantage of it right away. They even have a lightning fast capture system that can be summoned from anywhere on your computer via their command bar. With Accuflow, you'll think less in terms of a to-do list and more in terms of time blocks. We've talked a little bit about time blocks before on this channel, but the idea is to get as much out of your day as possible by putting time blocks on your calendar. By using Accuflow to put your to-do list on an actual calendar and blocking out the actual amount of time you need to get stuff done, you'll get a much better sense of how much you can get done in a day and know exactly what you should be working on at any given moment. The thing that separates Accuflow from other productivity softwares in my mind is just how flexible it is. They clearly want you to use Accuflow in the way that is best for you, whether that's as an add-on to your already thriving calendar or as the main productivity tool in your life. As someone who organizes her day job in Slack, her work to-do list in Asana, her personal productivity in Gmail, and her YouTube channel in Notion, continually switching between apps was killing my productivity. Plus, it's easy to think I have all the time in the world when I'm looking at my tasks in one area of my life, and then suddenly I'm swamped by stuff coming up in a separate area. But all of those different tasks and life areas have to share the same 24 hours, and Accuflow won't let you forget it. So if you want to give Accuflow a spin for yourself, check out my free trial at the link in the description box below. Okay, back to giving my productivity system a reset from scratch.
Now let's talk notes. So it looks like I have a bunch of places where notes are being kept, and I really need to figure that out as well, because I'm not sure where my reference materials are going versus where other types of notes and things like that. So lots of other productivity YouTubers or influencers will tell you that your notes section has to be one location as well, just like your task manager and your calendar, but I think you can have a few different locations depending on your needs. So for me, I currently keep two types of notes. One, reference materials and resources that I do not need to find quickly and do not use often. And two, notes that I take for quick reference that I do need to look back on regularly. A good example of this is book notes versus meeting notes. So I take book notes in my Notion app. I'll leave a link to my video where I go through my Notion setup in the cards, but effectively Notion is holding these more long-term second brain type of notes, and it's great for when I have to go back and find something, but I don't really need to reference that very frequently. I kind of just have it when I need it in Notion. Now, things I do need to reference more often are things like meeting notes. So I meet with my boss every single week, and I need to have my meeting notes easily accessible so that I can reference them daily throughout the week and also in our next meeting. I keep those in my Apple Notes app. I do this because, like I said, it is so easy to search. The search function is so good. I can just do keywords, I can do his name, and I can find things right away. It's also on every device that I own, including the computer I use for work. So it's wherever I am, we can meet, we can talk about something, whether I'm working from home, working from the office. It's super, super accessible for taking notes quickly and efficient for looking them up later, which means I never lose a piece of information from a meeting. So I will be using my Apple Notes app for notes and my Notion for notes. Now that means the other tools I'm keeping my notes scattered in, which are my Things 3 and my Pocket Notebook, can successfully be decluttered, and all of that content can and should be moved into one of the other two apps depending on need. Next, we are going to eliminate the extras that we are not using. So take a look back at your original list and see what you don't want to use. Now I can see I've circled my planner, I've circled things for my calendar app, my Notion, Apple Notes, Asana also is where I'm keeping tasks, obviously for work. My email inbox for work and my email inbox for personal are kind of like halfway capture methods, so I'll go ahead and give those a circle as well. But the items that I am not using at all as of right now are my Pocket Notebook, my End of Year Goals Notebook, and my Things 3. So I'm going to go ahead and just cross those off to demonstrate that I am not using them anymore. These items that I have crossed off now need to be completely or nearly completely removed from my system. So for Things 3, this means I can just delete the app. I can get rid of it after I move all the information over to its appropriate location and call it good. This also means for the notebooks that I'm using that I can just get rid of these as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that my Pocket Notebook is really good for on-the-go journaling. This is actually something that I'm trying to do to replace like social media if I'm waiting at a bus stop or something like that. So I will be keeping this around for that purpose alone, but I am not going to be putting tasks, notes, or anything productive in here. It is just going to be for a different use to reach for when I don't want to be on social media. This notebook, meanwhile, even though I did put a lot of work and effort into setting it up for the end of the year, really needs to go. I need to transfer the information that's in here back into my main task manager, my main productivity tool in terms of getting things done and accomplishing my goals. And then I need to just say goodbye to this. I thought I would use it. I thought I would be in it all the time, but the truth is I like to carry one thing around, and this is going to be my one thing that my brain trusts.
And lastly, to unify the system you've just created, you need to make an appointment with yourself on a regular basis to maintain it. Pick a time on whatever interval works for you, whether that's monthly or weekly, and create a routine that will help you keep all of this straight. This routine will help you trim the weeds so that your productivity system can flourish like the beautiful garden that it is. I have a video right here on the screen of a simple version of that reset that I do every week if you want help getting started. Thank you guys so much for watching, for being awesome, for being subscribed. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.